All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Thursday, December 12th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat Clayton. It is finally happening. And the it is the release of Craven the Hunter. The it is the end, supposedly, of the Sony Spider villain verse. It is happening right now. I feel honestly, this is not going to be one of the biggest movie weekends of the year, but this does feel like one of the most important movie weekends of the year, this Friday, December 13th, because Craven the Hunter is finally going to be off our fucking hands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how excited are you to, in just a few days, be done with Craven the Hunter?
It's gonna be great to bury this IP.
Mm-hmm.
And we already have the hole dug in the desert,
Yes.
and we're just waiting for the body.
Yep.
And that feels good. It
Yeah.
feels good. We're waiting for the casket. The nail, the last nail, will be
Yep.
driven in on Sunday when we
Yep.
get those numbers.
Oh, those actuals are going to be the final nail.
And listen, uh, we want success for movies. We want
Of
success for
course.
theaters. We want movies
Yes.
to make money. But
Yes.
here's the problem is that you cannot continue to make subpar movies and have people go to the theaters. So
Yes.
not all movies are rootable because these super villain Spidey Sony movies have done nothing but make people dislike movies or
Yes.
at least
Yes.
a certain type of movie, right? So you need to
Yes.
get these off the slate. You need to focus on what makes money, which is Spidey cartoon and Spidey sequels and the Spider-Man noir or whatever the shit you're going to put out. Like maybe that does something because at least it has Spider-Man in the title.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get rid of this Craven. You got to get rid of this Morbius. You got to get rid of this Madam Web, and
Mm-hmm.
and then start making some stuff that people want to see. Because as we're seeing, there are movies people want to see. There are
Of course.
3 movies in the theater right now that people really want to see: Moana 2, Wicked, and I would put Gladiator 2 in there too.
Okay. People want to see it. I mean, I think the first two are definitely their own class, and then Gladiator 2 is, so, hanging on behind them a few feet behind, but it's there. People want to see Gladiator 2 for sure. Um, yeah, Craven the Hunter is the bile in theatrical stomach that you gotta vomit up. And this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
it has to come up. It has to come up. We have to exercise this bile from our theatrical stomach, or else we're just always going to feel
Mm-hmm.
sick. If we just
Yeah.
keep this Spider Man villain verse in our bellies, we're always going to feel queasy. And you can't have
Yeah.
theatrical just constantly feeling queasy. And so it's got to come up. I mean, I'm looking at the Craven the Hunter release schedules and all the moves. Let's play a little trivia. Do you remember the earliest date that Craven the Hunter was slated for? Do you remember the earliest date that Craven the Hunter was set to release? It was first dated.
Was
How
it
far back does this?
2022?
It's not. It is 2023, so it's not
Okay.
2022.
But was it January?
Yes. So the
Yeah.
first date was January 13th, 2023. So we're
Okay.
talking. Remember, for those who don't know, we're a few weeks away from January 2025. So Craven the Hunter originally was supposed to come out 2 years ago, 23
Mm-hmm.
months ago. So that was the first date. And then it was pushed back. Do you remember the second date that it was pushed back to?
Ooh, because we when was it that we were saying just release it, just surprise release it? Was that in the summer? Was it in August?
So the next date, it was then pushed back to October 6th, 2023, and
Okay.
then pushed all the way out to August 30th, 2024. So then at one point it was supposed to come out this past August, and
Mm-hmm.
then that got moved to the current date, which is December 13th, 2024. So I feel like when that move happened to this past August, that is probably when we started the hashtag surprise release Craven
Mm-hmm.
campaign.
Yeah.
Um, it's 2 years of this bile building up in the stomachs of theaters, theater owners, patrons, and movie studios. You know, Sony
Mm-hmm.
execs have had this Craven bile in their bellies for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it
When
has to come up. It has to get out. It has to,
yeah.
whether it's toilet, whether it's floor, whether it's other people's shoes, popcorn buckets, the bile of Craven the Hunter just has to come out this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. When going back in the archives, and there was the New Mutants movie, which was
Mm-hmm.
a movie that got moved all over the map.
Yeah.
And we talked about as a movie that was an edging movie, that they kept edging us
Mm-hmm.
because there were things about that movie that were interesting, like that was Anya Taylor Joy
Yep.
before we realized that she has no box office pull
Mm-hmm.
after
Sadly.
Furiosa.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the first superhero horror movie that
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has done.
Right.
And or like that, I guess that was Fox at the time, right?
It was
But
Fox. It was still
yeah,
Fox. Yeah.
so it was still Fox. But that felt like, oh, when this comes out, it's gonna be pleasurable.
Right.
And this, I think, is like you said, you got to get the poison out. This is
You got it.
poison. It's you got to get the poison out.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. This is getting the poison out. So it's not going to be fun, as most regurgitation isn't fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, the demon needs to be exercised, and it will be exercised. And it's funny because we were texting with senior VP of interns Christopher,
Yes. Yes.
and he sent us the story about how this is the end of the Sony villain verse. The Sinister Six is no more,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about Craven and what is this guy's name?
Aaron
Uh
Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. And we were talking about that 28 years later trailer,
Yes. Yes.
and how I was so psyched for it until I saw this guy's in it, that Craven's in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens with these sort of things, is that
Mm-hmm.
a movie like Craven makes people less excited for an actually exciting movie in the
Right.
future. That is
Right.
why that's why these need to end. We're not
Yes.
rooting against movies because we get that. People say, well, you just root against movies. What the fuck are you
It's
talking about? We don't root
nonsense.
against movies. It's nonsense. We
Yep.
root against things that make people not like future movies. And I had that knee jerk reaction of, wow, this movie looks amazing. I just wish that someone else, I wish this was Austin Butler. I wish this was Timothy Chalamet. I wish this was Glenn Powell. I
Of
don't
course, we
want
wish it
this
was Glenn
guy.
Beck.
I don't want fucking Craven in my zombie sequel.
Right. And the thing is, because it's been pushed back 4 times, and we're now dealing with 2 years of Craven poison bile in our systems, it's as if this movie has bombed 4 times already. So it's
Yes,
as if
absolutely.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is a 4 time loser, even though the movie hasn't even come out and bombed yet. It will bomb, and we'll get into it in our predictions. This Craven is going to bomb. But because it's been 2 years, it feels like America has been living through 2 years straight of Craven the Hunter bombing at theaters. And so it
So
makes you that much sicker of Aaron Taylor Johnson, you
So
know?
this is this, and I think we should coin this because there's the famous Mandela effect, which we all know what the
Mm-hmm.
Mandela effect is, where people remember something differently. Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela was dead, and then he was alive, and now I think he's actually dead. But there was a time where people thought he died in the 90s. So the Mandela effect is something that people feel,
Mm-hmm.
This is the Craven Effect. The
Mm-hmm.
Craven Effect is when you think a movie's already come out and bombed.
Yep.
And so there will be several dates, like the dates you mentioned, that people will remember and be like, I remember when that came out in August and
Uh,
bombed.
yes. Yes. Yes.
And we'll
There
be
are
like, no, no, no,
people right
no.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, no.
There
It
are
did not.
people
Yeah.
right now in their mind, in their memory, Craven the Hunter bombed in January of 2023. And you
Yes.
cannot convince them any differently.
No.
That you could there are people that you could put into a chair and strap them down and give them a lie detector test. And you could ask them, when did Craven the Hunter bomb? And they will say, Craven the Hunter bombed in January of 2023. They will pass that lie
Mm-hmm.
detector test. Their heart rate will not go up. The line will stay straight or get squiggly, whichever one means that you're telling the truth. I don't know. But they
Straight.
will pass that lie detector test because in their head, they fully believe Craven the Hunter bombed 2 years ago.
And you know what else? They're going to be asked, do you love your wife? And you know what they're going to say? What are they going to say?
They're going to say, I think I love my wife.
Yeah, of course they're going to.
Of
Because
course.
they're movie fans.
Because they're movie fans, parentheses, Chris Rock. So that is a major problem for the American theatrical public is that
Mm-hmm.
they think this movie has now bombed 4 different times.
Yep.
And when they see it in theaters this weekend, that Mandela effect is going to smack them in the face and it's going to make them feel crazy.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of a dangerous time right now for a lot of movie fans because they're convinced that Craven the Hunter bombed either January 23 or October 2023 or August of 24. And then they're going to walk out and see Craven the Hunter on these marquees and AMCs, and they are going to feel crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
when people feel crazy, they act crazy.
Act crazy.
So it's bad for movies. It's also dangerous to have
Yeah.
Craven the Hunter come out this weekend after being delayed 4 times and people thought it had bombed in the past and now they feel crazy.
There's so many young people on the razor's edge.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So as movie companies, you have to make sure that you're being responsible here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So it's so important we get through this weekend. We get this poison out. We get Craven the Hunter out. We, I think, take care of our movie fans who are teetering on that razor's edge of sanity, who think that Craven the Hunter bombed already 2 years ago. And we watch out for them. We get them through this. We make sure there's, just lock away certain items this weekend. If you are in a house with a movie fan who thinks that Craven the Hunter bombed 2 years ago, and then they start to see it's coming out this weekend, maybe there's some things in your house you should put in a locked drawer that they can't get to.
Yeah, and get one of those locks on the bottom of the sink that for kids so that they can't get to like cleaning products and things.
Yes. Because it's a mentally unstable time for someone who's going through the Craven effect.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be over soon. And I think that is what we on this show and our listeners have to get excited about, is that Craven will finally come out and we'll be done with it in just, at this point, this airs on a Thursday. We're just hours away from Craven opening weekend being behind us.
And I will say, if you need to talk, if you need to talk in the form of, of course, emailing and, we'll maybe email you back. That's what I mean by talking.
Yeah.
Email us at theboboyspodcast@gmail.com and let us know how you're dealing with the Craven effect. Like, do you need just an ear?
Right.
Or eyes, which is how you read an email, because we're not going to be hearing them.
We're not sending voicemails now.
No. So, so definitely reach out. We are here for you. We understand. if anyone understands the Craven effect, we
Mm-hmm.
do because we coined it.
Yep. Yep. We coined it, so therefore we are the ones who can treat it. We're the only ones who could treat it, and because we coined it, so email us and we'll figure out this treatment, and then we'll send you the treatment, and then you'll pay for the treatment, and it'll be great for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a scary time, but it's a hopeful time that this is finally going to be behind us, and it's good for Sony. This will be behind them. They could move on from this debacle, and maybe this frees some of the people, the actors who've been involved. You know, we're not big fans of Aaron Taylor Johnson, but he'll be free of Craven in just a few days. Dakota Johnson, you know, we've made it clear on this show, she's got nothing, but I feel like she'll be free in a few days of this whole Sony villain verse debacle. Because until Kraven the Hunter comes out, even Madam Web is not free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, you can't ask for freedom for Aaron Taylor Johnson and not ask for freedom for Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
All these people's names are too close together. Jesus.
It's too much. Anya Taylor-Joy. That's what really tripped us up, that we started to talk about Anya Taylor-Joy, and then Aaron
Did
Taylor
I call
Johnson
her Anya
comes
Taylor
in.
Johnson? I feel like I called her Anya Taylor Johnson. I probably did, but it's a crazy time. Pat, it's
a crazy time.
Crazy in the streets.
Yeah.
And,
what about Jared Leto, Morbius himself? Does he get released from the prison he's been living in since Morbius when Kraven the Hunter finally comes out and bombs this weekend?
He's a weird one because it feels like no prison can hold him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been, caught.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Just to be, yeah. I think he's pretty free. I mean, and that could change at any time, but right now he's a free man.
Yeah. So that's good. But I think, Dakota Johnson, Aaron Taylor Johnson, they need this to be over. They need this to be over. Is there any excitement, do you think, for anyone to see this movie beyond going to it this weekend so that they could guarantee that it's over? You know, is there any excitement just to view Kraven the Hunter as a piece of entertainment?
View the body.
Or do they just, what was that?
They want to see the body for closure. I mean, see, we're looking at what they're saying this is going to open to, and it's saying 10 to 15. And I mean, is there $15 million worth of people who want to view this body? Right?
Is there $15 million of looky-loos?
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the Queen's funeral,
Right.
This is the death of a character that nobody likes or even knows. I mean, that's the other thing is there's one thing to not like a character. There's another thing to just not know who the hell it is. And I think Craven is that. Madam Web was that. Morbius was that.
Right.
Venom was the only one anybody knew.
Yeah. It's not even, because this is definitely not a funeral procession of someone beloved where people are going to line up on the streets to lay wreaths and lay flowers, and that's not this kind of funeral. But it's also not the funeral of a Mussolini where people are going to line up to spit on him and throw rocks and I don't know, mime jerking off or whatever it was people did, when they were dragging Mussolini around. You're not even going to get that level of excitement.
Yeah, I mean, and it's it's not. That's the thing. It's not a celebratory like the John DeBella funeral. It's not celebratory in any way. So I think it's just like you said. It's getting the poison out. And do people want to just take the weekend and be, you know, self doing self-care. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, is that what they want? You know,
Right.
do they want to be reminded of this? I don't know. That's a great question. There's so many questions. I think the one thing, and I mentioned it previously, is, you know, we mentioned Gladiator 2. Russell Crowe is not in that movie. He could not fit in
Mm-hmm.
his robe. That is the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there might be a small group of people who wished he was in that, see that he's in this, and can kind of graft it in their mind.
Okay, so like for some audience, which is at this point probably, are you thinking uh uh dads whose kid has just gone off to college, that for them this is their Gladiator 2 is Craven the Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That this is the Gladiator 2 they wanted.
Not what they want. No, not the Gladiator 2 that
Not
they
what they
wanted.
wanted.
Just that they wanted to see Russell Crowe because they
Right.
went to the Gladiator 2 and they were like, oh, he's not in this. And then they
Right.
see a trailer and they see him and they're like, maybe I'll go see this Kraven movie,
Right. Right.
this
So
Craven movie.
so for Russell Crowe, this is the proof of life, is
Mm-hmm.
seeing him in Craven the Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
Um,
this was filmed so long ago. This is not proof of life. I mean,
you,
anybody in this cast could be dead. I mean,
yes.
these
Mm-hmm.
if somebody in this cast is dead and in their apartment and no one's checked on them, they've been dead for 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like their corpse is rotting. And I'm not
Well,
rooting for that. And people say
no.
you root for people to rot in their apartments for 4 years. We've heard that
Nope.
criticism too. That's also what the fuck are you talking about? We don't root
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's
the thing about
unfounded.
that's how musty and dusty this movie is that that person is mummified
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
apartment.
And I don't think Sony is doing much in the way of a press tour for this. So they're not going through the cast and checking if they've died in their apartments because they got to get them out on all the chat shows. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not like, hey, we gotta call this cast member to go on Colbert.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing that. So for all they know, yeah, rotting in an apartment.
The guy who plays Rhino, I don't know. He's probably a great guy, maybe a monster. Who knows?
Who knows?
But we don't, and we also don't know if he's alive or dead
We don't know. We
because
don't
he's
know.
not eating wings and he's not on Lad Bible tasting Australian food or wherever Aaron Taylor Johnson's from.
Right. Yeah. Ariana DeBose is in this movie,
Ooh.
and she is second billed for what I'm looking at, because I think Russell Crowe is probably going to get an and Russell Crowe in the credits. Ariana DeBose, post the Oscar for West Side Story, it's been a rough run. You know, she was one of the stars of Argyle, but Argyle had enough people in it that it kind of disperses the stink. But this is was her big superhero, you know, post Oscar win. Let's get in a superhero movie, cash that check, ride that gravy train. And this is the one she ended up in. It's a hard beat right now for Ariana DeBose. You know, I don't think she's going to catch a lot of blame for this, but this is one of those situations where this is the superhero movie shot that you got, and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to do absolutely nothing for you.
Yeah, but I also think that, I mean, listen, that was news to me that she's in this movie because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I think that's good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's definitely good for her. So this is good that people don't know she's in this movie. The check has cleared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it cleared years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is good. She can focus on the future. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, she can move past this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ariana, if you listen, I know you listen and your people listen.
Yep.
Shoot us a text, or not shoot us a text. I'm sorry, email us and let us know like how you're feeling. We will not disclose it on the show, obviously, because you are a VIP, a very important person. So we'll keep that to ourselves.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you want to share with us your feelings on how to move past, you're going to move past Craven, we'd love to hear it.
Because even cast members of Kraven the Hunter, I mean, maybe more than anyone, will feel the Craven effect. Because Ariana DeBose may think that this movie came out and bombed already. You know, she's still processing the Argyle opening weekend. And she assumes she's already dealt with Craven the Hunter coming out and bombing 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now her reps are going to send her some numbers on Saturday, you know,
And
and they're going to try and make it seem, oh, it's better than, you know, look, 4% in the post track said that they came to see this movie because of Ariana DeBose. Whatever number they try and make her use to make her feel good about it, all they're going to do is let her know that this movie actually came out this weekend, which is something she might not even know.
yeah, she's going to look at her phone and be like, is it January 2023? Is this an old text? Like, is my
Yep.
phone broken? She's going to
Yes.
go to Verizon and be
Yeah.
like, my phone is broken.
Yes. It's sending me texts from Kraven the Hunter's opening weekend. And the Verizon guy, who, you know, he listens to the show, so he knows. He's like, "Oh, you mean from now?" And she's like, "No. Are you hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah.
I said Kraven the Hunter's opening weekend. That's January of 2023. That's January of 2023. So, and listen, I know she's getting heated in this Verizon store, but she has a right to, because she thinks that this guy is telling her that she's crazy.
I would, if I was the Verizon guy, I would not confront somebody who is in the midst of the Craven effect.
Yes.
I think what you have to do is say, yes, that movie did come out and bomb. You are correct. That is correct. And then you call someone and you say, hey, Ariana DeBose was in here, lovely woman, or monster, whatever. There's no in between. And was talking about this Craven movie coming out in January 2023. I think she needs help. She left in a lift.
Yeah.
And here is the license plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's what
and I also took a picture, and this is the Verizon guy, and he also took a picture of her feet.
Yeah. Well, listen.
She had open-toed shoes, and you listen.
Yeah. And listen, this Verizon guy, he knows that his manager has it in for him. And he's probably only days away from getting canned at this Verizon store, and there's no severance. It's like you're fired. The check ends that day. So that feet pick is a windfall for this poor guy.
Yeah, that's going to keep the lights on for another, like, maybe a month.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Yeah. But
that's the other thing. It's like when a movie like this bombs, the feet pics of celebrities, the value goes down.
The value goes down 100%. 100%. You know, Aaron Taylor Johnson, you get beach pics of him if you're
in the schlong.
Right. You get that because of Kraven the Hunter now bombing 4 times. That picture's worth less than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And that photographer is like, why did I pay for this tip that Aaron Taylor Johnson would be on this beach, and I had to fly myself out here to Morocco or wherever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I'm fucked. You know, this photographer, he's looking what he just did and how worthless this picture is because Kraven the Hunter bombing again. He's like, I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked.
Yeah.
I'm completely fucked.
He's cracking open a nice bud.
Yeah, Dwyer, that is. So, Kraven the Hunter, this Craven Effect. Anyone else that we need to look out for this weekend? You know, who is there anyone else who could be undergoing this Craven Effect? You know, Tom Holland is not in this movie, but I'm sure anything Spider-Man related, he's going to get asked about it. And his level of confusion is probably off the charts at this point because he barely could follow these Spider-Verse villain-verse movies in the first place. And now
Yeah,
he's getting asked about Craven again.
I think with him and these movies, it's a Gwyneth Paltrow situation where she
Mm.
just doesn't even know what Marvel movie she was in, and people
Mm-hmm.
gave her shit for that. And listen, you can give Gwyneth Paltrow shit for a lot of things, but don't give her shit for being confused what movie she's in because that's how Marvel operates. So,
Right.
I mean, if somebody asked Tom Holland what was it like to be in Craven, he'd have to make up some bullshit because he'd be like, I might be in Craven.
Right. 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 Yeah, he's in the Gwyneth Paltrow situation of living above it and being blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
To the point where it doesn't affect his psyche. He gets to just float above it in the clouds. Him, Gwyneth Paltrow, they don't know what's going on. They never had to know what's going on, and
Hmm.
therefore it doesn't affect them. Yeah, so he's in a good spot. Um, yeah, I think we just all got to get to Monday. Us, Ariana DeBose, uh, everyone. If we get to Monday, it's finally over. We get the numbers, we break down the numbers, and we move on from this Craven the Hunter. And then we could,
Hmm.
the poison's out, and then it's Mufasa, it's Sonic 3, and then it's the Christmas Day releases.
Yeah.
So we're only days away from getting the poison out. Is there anything else
Oh,
coming
Lord of the
out
Rings
this?
cartoon.
Oh my, that yeah. So when we did the winter preview with the great Jeff Bach of Exhibit Relations Co. When we looked at this weekend, I do feel like we were higher, or some of us were higher on this Lord of the Rings cartoon
I was. You can
and its
say it. You don't
potential.
have to hide behind. I mean, I'm not hiding.
So
I
you're
refuse
here.
to hide.
You were pretty high on this. You sort of put this into your theory that the future of entertainment is animated versions of these old IPs. And
Not
where are you feeling about that
exclusively.
now?
Not
Yeah.
exclusively, right? I'm saying that the way forward is going to be cartoons
Mm-hmm.
because adult animation is something that this generation, the younger generation, likes and can stomach and don't think that they're for babies like I do.
Right. Right.
All cartoons are for babies. And what I said is that I think this has a possibility of doing better than Craven.
Right.
And I'm probably going back on that only because Craven has IMAXs and this movie doesn't. Or
Mm-hmm.
it might have some IMAXs. I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah.
It could have some PLFs. But I mean, you know, we'll get to the numbers when we get to the
Mm-hmm.
numbers. But I do think that um yeah, this movie feels more DOA.
It does. I mean, I kind of theorized this when we were talking about it for the winter preview, and then I think it's the Deadline article I just read confirmed it that this movie is a quickie release to just allow Warner Brothers to keep the theatrical rights to the Lord of the Rings franchise. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
were starting to run into that danger of if they don't make a Lord of the Rings movie in time, then they lose the rights to make future Lord of the Rings movies. So this is a contractual blip and not really an actual movie release. And what is the title
Mm-hmm.
of this? We keep saying the animated Lord of the Rings movie, but the title of this is, and that's always a problem when it's impossible to remember or pronounce the title. It's Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim. I mean, this is a
Mm-hmm.
disaster. It's set, it says 400 years before the events of the first Lord of the Rings. So it's like not even characters that we know's dads. It's like characters that we know maybe they're like great 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 grandfathers who all have different last names. You know, it's not like this is
Yeah.
Bilbo's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it feels like there was no promotion behind this. It's produced by Warner Brothers Television Animation Studio. Um, so it's a quickie, it's a cheapie. Apparently, the budget on it was only 30 million, so it's not going to lose a ton of money. But the ceiling on this was always
Mm-hmm.
incredibly low. And there's no Bilbo.
Yeah.
There's no Bilbo. If you're animating Bilbo,
Yeah.
then sure, there's potential here. And Gollum and
Yeah.
none of them. They're not in this. They're not in this.
No.
Um.
No.
So so I mean, I guess let's get into just how low can these go. How low can these go? Do you want to get into
I
and
mean,
do your predictions?
yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Would you like to go first on your top 5 predictions?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go
Yeah, I'll
for it.
go first, tough guy.
Go for it.
Yeah. Watch me. Watch me go first. Uh, number one is going to be Moana 2.
Okay.
And Moana. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Hold on. Hold on. He's doing live math,
Hold on.
everybody. Hold
Hold
on.
on. Yeah. So I just need to take a look at something. I got so
Okay.
did you I was so confident and boastful that I was not prepared because I never go first.
I mean, you're out there yelling
Okay.
tough
So,
guy, and then you're not ready.
yeah. So, number 1 I think is going to be Moana 2.
Okay.
I think we're looking at what, like something like 25 or so?
Okay.
Like a 50% drop seems like that's something that could happen.
Okay.
I think number 2 is going to be Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Wicked is going to have a smaller drop than Moana because I think Wicked, of all these movies out there right now, that it is the phenomenon. It is the one
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants to see. I
Yeah.
know the rats need their cheese and everything with Moana too, but like this Wicked is just off the chain, as they say.
Yep.
So I think this is going to have a pretty small drop. So I think this is going to be like 22.
Wow. Okay.
I think under. Why? What do you? Okay. Well, you'll
No,
say.
no, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Um, Under that, I do think it. Oh God. It sort of like has to be Craven.
Okay.
I, I think it has to be Craven, but I'm gonna say this flies with the Angels. I'm saying this makes 7.9.
Mm.
Like I think this is a disaster. Disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then under that, that cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually Gladiator 2 and then the Lord of the Rings cartoon.
Okay. So
That's my top 5.
I love that. So you know what? I'm gonna go nuts. I'll ask you. Do you want to get nuts?
Let's get
Do you
nuts.
want to get nuts? Okay, let's get nuts. Wicked number 1 this weekend.
Love it. I knew you were gonna go there. I love it.
Because if Wicked drops like 33%, which I think is possible in this 4th weekend, it's at 24 million. And if Moana 2 drops over 50%, if it drops like 55, then that could be at like 23 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I may be calling this a weekend early. I do think for sure in the next couple of weeks, Wicked will jump over Moana 2 in the rankings. It's just trending that way. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be early to the party. Say this is the weekend. Wicked 2 edges out Moana. Wicked edges out Moana 2 by like a million. So Wicked is number 1. Moana 2 is number 2. And then number 3, yeah, because Gladiator 2 made 12 last weekend. It's got to drop 50% to like 6. So I agree. I think then number 3 is Craven at like 7 million, Gladiator 2 at like 6 million, and then I think Red One is number 5. I think that Lord of the Rings cartoon could make like 3 million.
Okay, so
I
it's not even flying to the moon. It's lower than that.
It's lower than that. It's yeah.
Okay.
I think Red One ends up ahead of this Lord of the Rings cartoon.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's my top 5 is Lord of the Rings cartoon. Doesn't even get in the top 5. Um, but yeah, that's my big swing. Is Wicked is the hot ticket right now, and it's I think it's for sure going to happen in the next 2 weekends, and I'll just say I'll be ahead of the curve. It's this weekend. Wicked jumps ahead of Moana too.
And I have trouble with the curve.
Yep. Yep. So those are, and there was nothing else coming out this weekend, right? That is at all worth a mention. No, there's everything else is limited. Uh, as far as Oscar stuff, Nickel Boy's limited this weekend, September 5th. And then the Oscar qualifying run of The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson, who got a Best Actress in a Drama Golden Globes nom nom nom.
Yeah, she got Globes. I want to see this. Batista's supposed to be great in this too.
That's right. This is Batista's in The Last Showgirl. Okay. Okay. Now I'm interested. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. So there you go. I think this is a good weekend for people to start catching up with the potential Oscar movies.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, so those are the movies coming out this weekend. Now, Clayton, you will not be on the episode in which we discuss the results of Craven the Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for you, this really is it for Craven. This
Yeah.
is you. You're done. It's out of your system once we turn these mics off tonight.
I had to step away from it.
Okay.
It's been rough going with this Craven.
Mm-hmm.
I have suffered the effects myself. I
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable enough to disclose this. I mean,
Yeah.
just yesterday, I was, looking at Deadline, and I was shocked that this movie was coming out because, again, I thought it came out in August. I've been having, momentary losses of, cognizance in that,
Mm-hmm.
in that thinking that this movie already came out. And so I felt like I needed to take a retreat,
Mm-hmm.
go across the country, do some
Mm-hmm.
thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I won't be talking about Craven again, because I need space.
Yeah. You need to hold space for yourself.
I need to hold space for myself. Yes.
Yeah. So you will not be on the next episode. Stepping in will be our wannabe VP of interns, Christopher, will be on mic beside me for the Craven opening weekend results episode. And I think it's very important for everyone to hear, for Christopher to hear, but also for the audience. Clayton, do you give your blessing to that co-hosting situation for the next episode, for this guest host that we have our VP of interns, Christopher, stepping in as guest host? Is this with or without your blessing? It's going to happen either way, but let us know.
Wannabe VP of interns, Christopher, has my complete and total blessing
Wow.
to be guest host when
Wow.
I am incapacitated, when I need to hold space for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he is the go-to. He should be the one.
Mm-hmm.
He will be my go-to if you need to gallivant off to another country,
Wow. Okay.
which you will do
Yeah.
because
As soon as I can.
like
Yep.
clockwork, this guy goes on vacation,
Yep.
and I will he will be the first call.
Wow.
He's the guy. He's the guy.
Wow. So he is
He's earned it. He's earned it. He earned it at the live show. I mean, listen, we had fun at Boston, but
right.
we found out. We effed around and found out what happens when Christopher ain't behind that board. Okay.
Right. Things could get iffy on the tech side when you don't have Christopher there. Yeah.
Listen, if Christopher's parents would have ponied up for that trip, I'm not making a judgment. They're great people, I'm sure. But
Right.
they should have invested in their son's future, is all I'm gonna say.
Right. Fly
Um,
him out there. Fly him out there. Yeah.
fly him out there, pay for his hotel, pay for his meals, pay for his
Right.
Ubers or her lift
Right.
or his lifts, whatever he prefers.
Right.
And he should have been
Give him a
behind
little
those boards.
something extra that he could put in an envelope to give to the heads of the company. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, or some funny money, just per diem as well. That's all we were
Right.
asking for. That's
That's all
all
we were
that
asking
that's
for.
all we were asking for. And so, that is I'm giving my blessing to. From now on, he is the guy.
Wow. All right, that's huge. So full and total blessing given to Christopher to be the guest host on the next episode when Clayton. So you have confirmed that you will be incapacitated on this retreat. Like
I
during
will
during the time you're away, you will have yourself incapacitated.
I will be in a tank.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I'll be
Um
in one of those tanks full of water where you can't feel your legs.
okay, so this is a full sensory deprivation situation. That that
Mhm.
is that is one of the few ways to guarantee that you get through the Craven Effect weekend is full sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah, like Jay and
Yeah,
Silent Bob. I need a reboot.
yeah, yeah. So that's the next episode, Clayton. We'll be excited for you to return fully free of the effects of the Craven Effect. And we will get through it, because it comes out this weekend, and then we exercise the bile on Sunday night, Monday morning, giving these results. So very
Yeah, that
exciting.
sensory deprivation tank is going to be full of bile because I will be. I mean, I'm getting the poison out.
Yes, yes. The whatever they put you, whatever liquid is in the tank when you get in, will not be the same liquid that they pull you out of. Yeah,
No.
yeah. And I hope they have a full staff ready to pull you out of this,
Yeah,
because one man will not be enough.
and that tank's going to be incapacitated until they clean it
Yeah, yeah.
for
It's
sure.
listen, it's a rough weekend for everyone, but here's the thing. The message is it will be over soon. We
Hmm.
are almost there, everybody. So just a few more days and we will be past this whole Craven situation. Uh One last thing I do want to read quickly is this one email we got from the great Javier, our boots on the ground college reporter, and he sent us a boots on the ground survey for December 2024. Sent us this just hours ago. So here we go from Javier. Dear BO Boys, I'm back with another school survey, this time for movies coming out in December. Have also incorporated a poll that I did on my Instagram story in which my followers can select one of four movies presented as their most anticipated. This time the movies were Kraven the Hunter, Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim, Mufasa the Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Sonic got the most votes. Mufasa came in a close second. Lord of the Rings came in third. Craven came in last, with only one person actually voting for it when taking both the survey and Instapoll into account. I feel confident in the two big holiday releases. Things aren't looking too great for Craven, Lord of the Rings. Curious to hear what you guys think. Highly enjoy listening to the live shows and the videos. So, I mean, that confirms it from Javier. The Craven Effect is really high amongst our young people in college,
Hmm. They're
because
over it.
they're over it. They think it came out already. That poll, we now have the scientific data to prove the phenomenon that we coined just 40 minutes ago on the show. There's your data. Javier has delivered us a full scientific study one person said they anticipated this movie. That means that most of them assume it came out 2 years ago.
I mean, I'd like to see the poll from January 2023 or August 2023. How many people
Yeah.
said not going to see Craven?
Right. 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 Um, but yeah, so there we go. Conclusive scientific data. The Craven effect is real. So just
Pat,
get through it, everyone. We just
yeah.
got to get through it.
And I think something to help get us through it. And Pat, I don't know, I don't want to give you extra work to punch an image into this video, but we did also receive another entry into what is going to become, I believe, a gallery
Yes.
show
Yep.
of
Yeah.
Paddington pissing on Captain America's shield.
Yes.
And I don't have the email up, but who is this from? What
So
is
this
the
is this is from wannabe oh boy Oren,
Orin?
and he sent
Great
us
man,
a image
great person.
that is so this is I'm guessing he did this in Photoshop. I'm not sure exactly what he used to create. This is not a drawing. This is the real Paddington pissing in a park on the real Captain America shield, and in the background, out of focus, but clearly there, it's Dwayne the Rock Johnson kneeling, looking, holding an empty water bottle.
Yes, and it's not a Voss, but it's fine. I mean, we totally get the meaning behind this.
Yep.
This is a splendid image. There's so many things to love about it. The fact that Paddington is brazenly doing it in the middle of a park,
Mm-hmm.
broad daylight.
Yes. Yes.
The distance from which the Rock is watching
Mm-hmm.
is far enough away, but close enough that Paddington's feeling the pressure. Like you can see on his face that he had a little trouble starting, but
Right.
once he got going,
It's a
that
strong
stream was
stream.
strong. The strong stream. And you can see the concentration that you have when sometimes somebody's too close to you at the urinal and you're like, oh, I gotta really strain. I gotta really prove that I can have a nice thick stream. And that's what Paddington's doing there. And so there's so much packed into this image. And
Yeah.
again, like the
Well, in
wannabe
this
boys would have.
image, in the drawing that we got from wannabe oh boy Reese, Paddington had the sly smile, not the
Mhm.
Calvin smirk.
No,
He had the Paddington smile.
it's the Paddington
In
smile.
this piece of art by wannabe oh boy Oren, Paddington is not smirking. He's not smiling. He seems like, yes, he's got the pressure of the Rock being in the background watching him, but there's a sense of duty in the way he's pissing on the shield in this image.
This is serious. Yeah, this is serious. Like he's at war.
Yes, yes, yes. He's not doing this because he's having a laugh, or he's not taking the piss here, even though he is taking a piss.
Yeah,
He is
big
right
distinction.
now doing this because it had to be done, and there was no one else who could have pissed on this Captain America shield other than Paddington,
Mm-hmm,
and he
mm-hmm.
knows it. And for whatever
He's
reason, it had to be done in the park. He in broad daylight. That's the way it went, and he said, "I will deal with the consequences of this because I have to piss on this Captain America
yes,
shield."
yes. This somebody has to do something. This has
Yeah,
been going on for too long, and
yeah,
I am the one to do it. And
yes.
is it
I Paddington
scary?
Bear.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But was it needed? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
So.
this little bear
Mm-hmm.
stood up and said, "Guess what, Marvel? You're not going to run our lives anymore."
Right.
I've seen
Right.
too many people. I mean, look at Miss Flo,
I know.
right? Look at Miss Flo stuck in Thunderbolt's asterisk, right?
Right.
The hostage situation that is that. I mean, he is pissing for her.
Right. 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 This little Paddington Bear in this image, this great work of art, he is pissing for all of the stars who are still trapped in these Marvel movies.
His flow is for Miss Flow.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So we will post this on our socials at the BO Boys Pod. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, it's the only way to get the whole story of a BO Boys episode. You're seeing this right now. This great piece of art by Wanna BO Boy Orin of Paddington pissing on the shield in the park
Make
in
sure
broad
you put
daylight.
it in. Make sure you put it in the image.
It's already in.
Okay.
People are looking at it as you're saying it better be in, and they're like, what is he talking about? I'm looking at it right now.
Well, just remember that I think Craven came out in August 2023, so don't hold that against me.
Yeah, you also suffer from the Paddington piss picture effect.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I can't see it right now, so it doesn't exist.
It's there. We're all looking at it. Every
better
one
be.
of us. We're all looking at it. So send us your Paddington pissing on the Captain America shield images. And again, you could use, there's so many ways to create your art. There's line drawings, there's photoshops, there's crude photoshops, so many formats you could work in. We want to see them all.
Macaroni and glue.
Yes. Yes.
Have
Macaroni
your kids
art and take a picture.
Listen, here's what you do. You've already seen Moana 2, right? You've seen Wicked. Mm-hmm. This weekend, you get the kids together.
Right.
You get out the pasta, the elbow macaroni. You get out the glue, the paste, right? The tasty paste. And you say, we're going to do some arts and crafts. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a picture of Paddington pee on Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fun activity for kids. They love the scatological humor. They love pee-pee and poo-poo.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't want to see Paddington pooping on the shield. That is disgusting.
We will not air that.
That is a disgusting act. That is a disgusting act. And we will not air it. We will not air it. So don't even send us that.
We will not air it. We will not air it.
It will not be here like that photo should be here. And I'm trusting you that it is.
It already is there.
Okay.
It's always been there.
It better be.
It's always been there.
Okay. So that I think would be fun for the kids. The wanna-BO babies, the wanna-BO
toddlers. Yeah.
Toddlers. The wanna-BO. Yeah, I guess not teens and tweens. They'd be like, back you and your macaroni.
Yeah. So yes, send in your Paddington pissing on the Captain America shield artwork. Because, yes, this is becoming a gallery show. It's becoming a coffee table book. That is where this has to end up. So be part of it.
I haven't been to a fancy art opening in years.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Some people think that you've been there many times, but no.
Yeah, but no. This gallery showing will be my first fancy art opening in a long time. And I can take credit, and you can take credit for all this artwork. We'll talk about it. I mean, because we came up with the idea and they executed it. So it's like...
Yeah, but they'll get their
90-10. It's like 90-10.
They'll get into the show. They will get into the gallery show for free with a +1. Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
A free drink, the whole thing.
And the town will be a buzz because we wanted them to be a buzz.
Yeah. So send in this artwork to the theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, let us know how you get through the Craven Effect opening weekend. And if you need any help with your Craven Effect symptoms, email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at theboboyspod. Wanna-BO VP of Interns Christopher, killing it with the vertical video clips on Instagram, on TikTok. Twitter X phasing that out, but it's the graves are still up there on our Twitter X. So at the BO Boys Pod, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We are YouTubers. Hey, guys.
Hey guys.
So, of course, subscribe to the BO Boys YouTube channel. Get the full story. Of course, you just saw that image of Paddington pissing on the shield in the park. If you are watching on YouTube,
Did they?
they already did.
Okay.
We already did. So, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and yeah, that is it. That is all I got, Clayton.
Well, I finished. And Pat, you've said it all. There's nothing left to be said.
All right. Well, time to hit the bricks.
Except for until next time.
We'll smell you at the